Good morning, family, and welcome again to the installment of the AikmanSwinny Diamond Club. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I know we missed class last week, but I'll be doing two installments this week. So, yes, we'll be finishing up on our segment about health and the mind and going into health in the body. So, with that said, I would like to start this particular session with another quote. As always, this time it is the poem Invictus by William Ernest Henley. And it says, out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Can you tell I love that poem? But yes, so today's message is about the power of a made-up mind, but it's not quite what you might think. In the last few lessons, we have discussed what it means to change your thinking and to change your mind and to think about yourself in a certain kind of way, to transfer your energies from negative to positive so that in doing so, when you find yourself thinking of yourself a certain kind of way, you can transfer that in order to have the best possible outcomes and manifest the best possible life for yourself. Today's lesson in the power of a made-up mind, where we've discussed the power of a made-up mind, really gets to the heart of why it is so important. And I'm pulling this from a message by T.D. Jakes, which is Beware Three Types of Friends. And I'm going to go into the four types of people. So there's another one. So I'm going to start with the most obvious, which is always translating from negative to positive. So I'm going to start with the most obvious, which is the negative kind of person. The reason why we have to be aware of who we are and know who we are within ourselves is because when we allow our circumstances and those people around us to dictate who we are and to influence what we believe about ourselves, we oftentimes find ourselves believing a lie. Okay, and we talked about that the last time around, which was, what is the lie that you're believing? Where did you learn it from? And what do you now know that negates it? And so this goes into why it is so imperative for us to know for ourselves so that we don't believe the lie. And so we have combatants. Combatants are those people who, I don't care what you're doing, it's a problem. It's the wrong thing. They will always have something negative to say. They will always have a problem with what you're doing, what you're wearing, where you are, who you're talking to, who you're dating, who you're not dating, whatever it is. It will always be an issue. These people are your combatants. Anytime that you come against them, anytime that you come toward them, you're coming against them. That's the nature of the beast with them. The second group of people are your comrades. These people are not for you, but they are against whatever you are against. So in other words, we might disagree about just about everything, but the only thing that we do agree on is that we don't want a certain thing. These are your comrades. They will fight alongside you so long as that thing is something that they too disagree with. But yet, those things that you agree on, you can't seem to find that thing. So the only thing you can agree on is that you disagree with a particular thing. Your constituents, these are people who, they're not for you, nor are they against you, but they are for the thing that you are for. They are about what you're about. So, you are all about, for me, family legacy and promoting, intergenerational communication and building and strengthening bonds and getting families to a place of higher order and of higher level living. People are all about that. They'll jump on board the bandwagon for that kind of purpose. But if they can find someone else who's doing it bigger, better, stronger, who can get them where they think they want to go faster, they're on board. But the last group, and this is the group that's so just critical to our development, our sustainability, our longevity, longevity, our peace of mind, and that's our confidence. And I'm going to really break this down in 2 seconds. And as you always know, I'm trying to keep it within a time frame. These are 60 and 90 and 120-minute lessons broken down into like 7 minutes. So, I talk a mile a minute and so forth. But, you're always welcome to email me. So, okay, getting into that. Your confidence. These are the people that are for you. They are with you. They are about you. It does not matter if somebody is doing it bigger, if somebody is doing it better. They have to do it alongside you. These are the people that you can talk to, you can cry with, you can laugh with. These are the people you don't have to put on any airs. You don't have to lie. You don't have to put on a facade. You don't have to pretend. Everything is not okay. I'm having a problem. I'm having an issue. I can't do it by myself. I'm overwhelmed. I'm tired. I'm about to break down. I'm about to break down before the breakthrough. I can't get it together. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't. These are the people who say, keep going. These are the people who cry with you. They laugh with you. They hold you up when you're falling down. They pick you up when you have fallen down. These are the people that are in your corner, and they are about you 150%, sometimes even more so than you yourself. But here's why you have to have a made-up mind. Because if you do not, you will begin to believe a lie. Your confidence will tell you how important you are and how important it is for you to stay vested and stay committed because you're so close. And it's just just reach out and grab it. It's yours. And you won't believe it because in your mind, you believe the circumstances around you. You believe that, well, because I haven't worked for X amount of time, I'm not going to be able to do this. And because I've been injured for so long, I'm never going to walk again. And because I've been down and out and destitute, I'm never going to come back up. And because, my child has been strung out for as long as he has, he's never going to recover. And because my marriage has been so horrible, and because I got a divorce and I failed, I'm never going to be able to get married again, whatever it is. You begin to believe the lie even though someone is telling you it's not true, because you've gotten into your mind that this is the reality, that this is what's real, because you've allowed yourself to believe the lie because of the circumstances around you. When your confidence tell you how real it is, how important you are, how great you are, you can't hear it. And yet when your constituents leave you because you have indeed, they found someone who's doing it bigger and better, you believe that it's because you yourself are not good enough. And when your comrades come in and they can only stand with you for that thing that you stand against, you begin to believe that there is nothing more than just criticizing and being, critical and undermining and what's the word I'm looking for, when, satirical and sarcastic and snarky. You begin to become embittered because the only thing that you can be for is something that you can be against. You begin to believe the lie. But when you make up in your mind and your combatants, you don't have to go there. You believe that lie. Yes, you are not good enough and you are a failure. That is the most obvious. But those other three, you really, when you begin to believe the lie, you really begin to undermine and devalue your life. You really begin to deconstruct that which is meant for you. You begin to pull it apart and destroy it. But when you have a made-up mind, when you know somewhere deep down, when you know that it gets better, when you know that there's hope, when you know that there's a positive, when you know that there's not a silver lining, there's just no clouds. When you know that you know these things, it doesn't matter what people are doing, and it doesn't matter what people are saying, and it doesn't matter what circumstances look like, and it doesn't matter how things are beginning to pan out, because you know that there's a positive. You know that there's a shift, and you actually begin, once again, going back to my mind-brain science, forgive me, it always comes back to this for me, but you begin to actually reconfigure and hardwire your physical brain based on your metaphysical manifestations, your thoughts, your feelings. You begin to rewire your physical brain to say, okay, I am actually going to now secrete the necessary chemicals, the necessary transmitters, the necessary emotions to do that which I need to do so that my reality, what's actually happening on the inside, will align and they will begin to conjoin and look alike. What's happening on the outside, what I know that I know, it begins to look like that. Because right now it doesn't look like that. But because I am here, I am now connecting to that. I'm connecting to the positive. I'm connecting to the reality that I see in my mind. And I'm getting that much closer to it. I have to go through the muck and the mire. I have to go through the hardship. I have to go through all of that. And all of these people are going to come into my life in different ways. And as they do so, then they're going to leave my life in different ways. But that confidant will stay there and continue to boost you up and build you up. The combatants will begin to fall away. The comrades will begin to fall away. The constituents will begin to fall away. But you will still stand. You will still stay. And you will still move forward because you have a made-up mind to do so. Because you've shifted from the negative thinking to the positive. Because you've begun to deconstruct and demystify the lies and begin to recognize the truth and see the truth in yourself. So, it's necessity to have a made-up mind, to know what you know, and to be able to say, okay, building on all our lessons, I recognize the importance of my thinking because it affects what I say and what I do. And I recognize that when I'm thinking negatively, it will influence me to do that which is negative and to have negative outcomes. Therefore, I must learn how to shift my thinking from negative to positive. Then going from there saying, well, why am I thinking negative? To deconstruct that and uproot it from its source so that when you begin to restructure and hardwire your brain, the filter now is no longer negative but positive, only to then be able to say, okay, because my filter is positive, regardless of what is going on around me, it is now going to come through that positive filter instead of the negative filter, so that when all is said and done, what I'm getting and what I'm feeling, even in the midst of the situation, is going to be positive. So I say to you, family, the time has come. It's the end of the first segment of the first quarter where we deal with our mind and our health in our mind, and now we're going to be going into the body, and what it means to actually do that which is positive, to do that which puts us in a place to be able to sustain better. But I say to you, and I leave you with this, continue to grow as you go. Continue to challenge yourself to learn what you did not know before. Continue to challenge yourself to do that which you thought you could not do. Pablo Picasso said it best, that which I did not know, I did, so I could learn how to do it. And so I leave you with that and say, if this resonates with you on some level, learn how to make up your mind. It can only benefit you in the end. So I love you all. I'm looking forward to more classes. I'll be contacting some of you because I've heard some things, and I want some people to start taking this thing over, because you guys, there are experts in this family in areas that I don't even touch. So I'm looking forward to the continuation of the AikmanSwinny Diamond Club. God bless you all. I love you all. I'll be talking to you soon.